Prey 2022. A good Predator movie, also known as Predator 5 or Predator 7, maybe, I don't know, depending if you want to count those other atrocities that came out over time. I'll talk about those in a second, but as a huge Predator fan, I, was a huge fan of the first one, and I did like Predator 2, even though a lot of fans don't really consider that one to be good, which, yes, it has its flaws, I will agree with that, but I love the first two Predator movies, and to some extent, yeah, I even love Predators, which is the third sequel, technically, and, when they came out with The Predator, technically AVP Requiem, and then The Predator, I don't know, it just kept going downhill. I don't know what happened, but I will say AVP, which stands for Alien vs. Predator, that was at least watchable, even though it was technically different from the story of the Dark Horse comics, but it was watchable. What's that movie called again? AVP Requiem was a dumpster fire, but it gave us a very badass Predator, the Wolf Predator. I loved his design in that movie, and it's a shame that Predator had to get killed off, damn it. But he died for the greater good, I suppose, to wipe out a bunch of alien infestation. Anyways, whatever, AVP Requiem is trash. Then we get The Predator, directed by Shane Black, and I see what he was trying to do with that film. He's trying to, I guess, mimic the first original film, but it just didn't work. It was horrible. It was horrendous. They turned Predator into a goddamn joke, and it hurts. As a Predator fan, that movie hurts so goddamn much. Oh, I hated The Predator. I hated it so much that I just want to erase it from my memory, and I just want to erase it from existence altogether. So to me, The Predator does not exist. To me, Prey feels like the proper sequel we should have gotten after the second movie, even though it's a prequel film. So it takes place, before the first movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. But I feel like, or the reason why I say it feels like a proper sequel to the second movie, because it's sort of connected in a way with the pistol that was handed to Danny Glover at the end of that movie. I think it was the same pistol. I'm gonna have to do some research. It looked like the same pistol, I believe. Well, anyways, Prey takes place in the 1700s, and it follows a Native American tribe, but the main character is the hero of this film, and she goes by the name of Naru, played by Amber Midthunder, which I don't recall seeing her work in anything else. This is like the first film I've seen Amber Midthunder, acting, and I feel like she did a great job. Now, I had my worries about, heavily pandering woke moments, because when I saw the trailers for this film, and also the fact that Disney purchased Fox a while back, I had my worries. I was like, oh great, they're gonna nerf the Predator, they're gonna turn into a goddamn joke, they're gonna make him cartoonish, just like how Thor, what was that recent Thor movie that came out? Thor Love and Thunder was very comedic and cartoonish, and it was nothing like the comics that involved Gore the God Butcher. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, I had my doubts, and no, they kept it pretty much rated R, I think, because it was downright violent, it was bloody, it was brutal, it was scary, just the way I like to see my Predator movies, damn it. I want my Predator to be brutal and violent, and that's exactly what I got. So anyways, it takes place in 1700s. You got this young Native American female who goes by the name of Naru, and her whole thing is that she wants to become a hunter, because she just doesn't want to sit back at the reservation and be like the rest of the females. She's like, no, screw that, and you see that through her observation of looking at, the other females around her in her tribe, and she's like, nah, I want to be a hunter. This is what I want to do. So she goes out hunting with her fellow male tribe members, and horrible things ensue. Horrible things go down, and she does prove her worth. She proves how beneficial she can be to the rest of the tribe as they go on their hunt, because she can make like this herbal medicine that could, I guess, not exactly heal in a way. I guess it just it chills the blood or something like that. It like drops your blood temperature to the point where you feel cold. And that comes into play later on when she needs to, I guess, survive, the predator, or the predator's hunting tactics, I should say. So a whole bunch of horrible shit goes down, as usual in these predator movies. And, she sees this predator, or she's tracking the predator before she actually sees what it is. And of course, no one else believes her. And, I was worried at first from the trailers I seen, because I was like, okay, how is this small, petite woman is going to take down this huge, hulking predator? And she uses her wits. So it doesn't really go down the way I thought it would. Because, with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the original film, it's believable that he uses his brains and his brawns, right? Because he sets up traps, and he even goes toe-to-toe with the Predator, but even the Predator kicks his ass. In Predator 2, Danny Glover, he gets his ass kicked around a lot, but for the most part, he just tries to survive. And that was like the key point here of Naru in Prey, is that she is technically a survivor. Now, most of the surviving does come through with a bit of plot armor. So, or no, I should say it's aided. Sorry. Yeah, it's aided with a bit of plot armor. Oh, by the way, did I mention this movie is directed by Dan Trachtenberg? Hold on, let me look at that again. Director is Dan Trachtenberg. So far, it mentions he was the one who directed 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is a very suspenseful thriller / sci-fi thriller, because it gets very sci-fi near the end of that film. But yeah, I feel like he did a very great job with Prey. And real quick, I would like to talk about the Predator itself, or himself. I'm assuming it was a he, or I'll just call it since it's an alien. But yeah, I would like to talk about that thing. Oh my gosh. So the Predator in Prey, 10 times more ugly than any other Predator in any other movie. Like the ugliest Predator I have ever seen was, and I say that as a good thing, because whenever they have a face reveal in each Predator film, they always have like this ugly looking face with mandibles. But the ugliest Predator face, I guess I should say, I ever seen was in Predators with the Berserker Predator. And that Predator was nasty looking, right? The Predator in this film looks way more nasty than that thing. I mean, he looks way more beast-like and just insane looking, even though they use a bit of CGI for the face this time, but it works. And oh yeah, the CGI. It will be noticeable because they use CGI animals with a lot of nature shots, I'll just say that. And if you have an eye for that kind of thing, yeah, you're gonna spot it out, or it's not gonna even bother you the least bit. For me, I was so wrapped up in the film that the CGI animals didn't really bother me that much. But anyways, going back to the actual Predator, so it was brutal, it was ugly, and this thing was badass. He had a lot of badass kills with the gadgets he uses, and there are some scenes where this Predator will use its bare hands in combat, and I'm like, holy shit, this Predator is no joke. How is she going to take down this thing, right? Eventually you see how that happens. I mean, she uses her native ingenuities, her wits, and not really her brute strength. because of her size and her stature. You know, obviously she's not going to take down a predator barehanded. So there are some things that happens in the film to get to that point, right? So anyways, I love the Predator's design in Prey. I love how it moved. I love how it acted. I love how it hunted. And I just love how scary looking it was. And the kills, oh my god, the kills were brutal. So let's get back to the main human characters here. Amber Midthunder, who plays Naru in this film, I feel like she did a great job. You could tell she did a lot of expressions in her eyes to express what she's feeling in certain situations. I felt like, yeah, her expressions were great. And the actor who plays her brother, I believe it was her brother, the actor is Dakota Beavers, who plays Tabe. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. By the way, I watched this entire movie in English language. I did not watch it in the Comanche language. I felt watching it in English was perfectly fine for me. For others, it might be a personal preference. Basically, it's whatever you're comfortable with. I can't say after watching this film, I do feel like watching it again. So maybe I might watch it in the Comanche language a second time. But yeah, well, I had no issues watching it in English, by the way. Even though some of the dialogue was not really cringy, but they were doing certain callbacks to, you know, the first film. And it's like, oh, they said the thing. But, yeah, the guy who played her brother was great. And all the other native actors and actresses were all awesome. And there were also these French fur trappers in the film. Basically, these French people who, I guess, go to the native land, or not really the reservation, but I guess it's, I guess they're treading on reservation lands, and they pretty much hunt and maim animals. And there's a point in the film where you get to see the results of that, where you think it's the work of the predator, but it's the work of the fur trappers, and they get it good. They get slaughtered by the predator, and it was awesome because the predator basically does a bunch of fatalities on these fur trappers, and damn. So, you know, the movie is about Naru wanting to become a hunter, to basically Naru becoming a survivor, and it comes back around to basically Naru becoming a good hunter. I mean, I don't know. I mean, she just basically tries to hunt or track down and kill the predator. And I don't recall seeing her hunt anything else other than tracking the predator throughout most of the film. So anyways, I love Prey. I thought it was a great Predator movie. I felt like Dan Trachtenberg is setting the Predator franchise back on track. But this is pretty much I think, one-off standalone film. I don't think they're going to make a sequel to this. You know, if they do make another movie, it'll probably be by a different director. It'll probably be set in present time or the future. But as a Predator prequel film, I give it 2 thumbs up. I enjoyed it a lot. It gave me everything I wanted. Well, everything that should have been in that last Predator movie. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about Prey here. If you're wondering where I would rank this amongst the other films, to me, personally, this feels like a proper sequel to Predator 2. Even though this is a prequel movie, it takes place in the 1700s, so it takes place well before the events of Predator 1 and 2. The reason why I said it felt like a proper sequel to Predator 2 is because of a certain specific item that Danny Glover gets in the end of Predator 2. And you see that item in this movie. And when you see how the item is used and what happens after that, it sort of has a deeper meaning now. So it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. That item has a deeper meaning. It didn't go down the way I thought it would with that item. But yeah. Love Prey, love Predator 1, love Predator 2, and I love Predators. We're not going to even talk about the Predator, the Trash Fire. Yes, that's what we'll call it, the Trash Fire. That movie does not exist to me. So yeah, Prey gets 2 thumbs up for me. If you're wondering what I would rate it out of 10, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. A very solid 8 out of 10. And I already feel like watching it again. You know, this is something I would definitely want to pick up in 4K once it comes out on, you know, physical media, because I'm still a collector of physical media. And hopefully they keep things on track with the next one, and they don't go off the rails and ruin it again. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Prey 2022. Let me know what you guys thought about the movie if you've seen it. It's on Hulu, so available for streaming. This did not come out in theaters, which is a shame. I would have loved to see this on a big screen. But yeah, it's currently on Hulu. If you don't have Hulu, I believe you could sign up for the first month for free. And they have different tiers. Like, you could sign up for the cheapest one, which has ads, or you could sign up for the one that costs like $12. It has 0 ads, but once again, first month is free. So, you know, you can sign up for free, watch the movie, and cancel your subscription before it renews. There you go. But for me, I will be watching it again, and I will be buying it on, you know, either 4K Blu-ray, and be adding it to the movie collection. But this is a movie that I think all Predator fans need to see. If you're not a Predator fan, like if you were not into like the original Predator film or any other Predator film that came after that, then this movie is not for you. But if you are a diehard Predator fan, yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. You know, especially if you're a fan of the comic books from Dark Horse. Oh, hell yeah. Totally. Alright, so anyways, that's my thoughts. I'm trying to think if I left out anything other than some noticeable CGI moments with animals. Because there's quite a few animal brutality in this film, so, you know, if you're sensitive to that kind of material, you've been warned. Oh, and the score. I forgot to talk about the score in this movie. It's new, it's original. They don't do any of the classic themes that you might have heard in the previous Predator films. And I think that's great, because it's just enough to make this feel very different. And the rest of this film also feels different enough to be its own standalone Predator movie, you know? But no, every time that score kicked in, I loved it. It made the film feel, you know, very different from the other Predator movies. I will see you guys in the next video. Later. Peace.